This is the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla in the Narrowgate Security Agency studios.
You know, so many things that were reported that could have easily been corrected in terms of what my record is and what we do up here in Alaska and how our government works. Too many media folks decided not to correct something on the record.
Our guest today is no stranger to unfair treatment in the media. She's become a national figure of late ever since the story of Clock Boy made the headlines. She is Beth Van Duyne, mayor of Irving, Texas, and she's here today to talk about the latest in the clock bomb saga, her trailblazing career, and much more. Governor Palin offers Thanksgiving wishes and speaks out on a shooting at a Planned Parenthood facility. A brand new installment of Liberty and Legacy with Tamara Colbert is on the way from Texas, and just ahead, our latest edition of Steel Resolve with Sarah Steelman in Missouri. Welcome to the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. The Palin Update is sponsored by Narrowgate Security Agency. Learn more at narrowgate.com. Today, we're joined by a dynamic public servant, a Mama Grizzly with many things in common with Governor Palin. You've certainly heard of the whole Clock Boy flap, where a Muslim student brought a project to school that clearly looked like a bomb. When teachers and police did exactly the right things, the left went bananas and started the false anti-Muslim narrative. In the middle of it all, showing leadership and common sense, was Irving, Texas Mayor Beth Van Duyne. Today, we get to discuss the Clock Kid flap and much more. She is Beth Van Duyne, the mayor of Irving, Texas. Welcome, Mayor, to the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio.
Great to be here. Appreciate the invitation.
Now, you have made national headlines of late for the incident with the kid we've come to know as Clock Boy, Ahmad Muhammad, a child in a Dallas suburb, Irving, that went out and had a project that the teachers thought perhaps was a bomb and made the phone call, which they're always told to do, see something, say something, and instead you, the police, the teachers, and everyone else were ripped apart, called a lot of nasty names, Islamophobes and things of that nature, and now some progression as we move forward here into December in the case. Apparently some suits coming down against the city. What's the latest on this, Mayor? Where do things stand?
Where do things stand? I understand the family has moved to Qatar, and we were given a demand letter last week that the family is requesting, the attorneys for the family are requesting $10 million in apology from me and our chief of police.
You know, I mean, yeah, everyone's.
And they're also requesting $5 million from our Irving ISD.
The narrative's amazing, isn't it? I mean, you hear people say, "Oh well, it's just about a discrimination situation," and then meantime you're looking for huge bucks. Not to mention suing again for apologies, which right there, just unbelievable. But you know, you got caught here in this whole thing as the mayor, and meantime, people have heard about you because of this. But when you look at Mayor Van Duyne and what she's done, I mean, you've been unbelievable. Your career so far as mayor, balancing the budget, increased property values. You've delivered.
We had double-digit property value increases last year. We've had brand new Fortune 500 companies move in. We have had double-digit growth, a number of people moving here. We have new single-family homes coming in, new corporate offices going up. I mean, we have a phenomenal city. And for some reason, we're being defined by kind of like the outside press, and it's not who we are.
Yeah, you've gotten the Sarah Palin treatment in a lot of ways. You have, because you've been marginalized, for things that you think should be lauded. Your support of police, your patriotism for our exceptional country, and here people coming after you. Is that tough when you're in a position like that? Because here you are with such success and a lot of great things we can talk about, and instead they're hanging on this craziness about a quote-unquote clock that even Bill Maher, ultra-liberal, said looked like a bomb and people should have called.
You know, it is. It's what is more frustrating to me is I have lived in this city for over 25 years, almost 30 years now. And I see the people that live here, I see the people that work here, and I see what we are. And it is so frustrating to be able to, read things like in the Washington Post about what people say about our city, and it's just not true. We have the most diverse zip code in the country. We all get along. And, I won re-election last year by 70% of the vote. And I'm out and about in my community, and we do all these roundtables. We have all these religious affiliations and non-for-profit groups that really care about what our citizens go through, who needs the most help. We're there for each other. And it's very frustrating when you see that being defined by outside groups, especially when you have somebody like the President of the United States who comes in and without knowing anything will throw your police officers under the bus. That was the most frustrating part for me. Like, are you kidding me? Really?
Well, and you said it, we all get along, and nothing burns up liberals than that. When they see people from different backgrounds, whether it be color or religion or gender or whatever it may be, that's exactly what those in power don't want to see, because it goes against the things to push their agenda. They want to have this divide. We've seen this divisiveness coming from this administration, pitting so many Americans against one another because it fits that narrative.
It's fight promotion, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
There's
got to be a bad guy, there's got to be a good guy, and it's easy to throw out labels. And once you throw out a label, you stop actually having a conversation, because everybody kind of gets pitted into, no, well, if you believe this, then yada, yada, I can start ignoring you now. And we don't ever want to have a conversation, it seems, because if you have a conversation, you might understand each other. You might come to some kind of a realization that, okay, I'm not the angel, you're not the devil. And that seems to be over a number of people's heads, at least in the media and in our government, and it's not right.
You talk about how the city's diverse and how you get along, and how there's been so much success there, and that really is something that you and Palin have in common too. As governor of Alaska, and before, while running and in serving in lower offices, she stood up to not just Democrats, she stood up to Republicans who weren't getting the job done, oil that wasn't doing their part, and but instead, well, wait a minute, it's a conservative woman, we better bring her down, and I think a lot of that has come. But you've seemed to survive the onslaught from this. But let's harken back a little bit to when this all went down with the situation with Muhammad. I mean, I don't know about you. You have children. I have children. I think people handled it exactly the right way. What are you supposed to do? Wait until you're wrong and have something go wrong in a school? I mean, everybody cries about, from the left, guns all the time. It's always about guns. But meantime, if a Muslim child has something that appears to be dangerous, we don't do anything?
One of the first things I did was I called my police chief. I talked to a number of different people in the police department and within the school. And it was very clear they completely followed policy. And you have an opportunity as mayor. I mean, are you going to throw your police under the bus, as we've seen some other mayors in other cities do? Or are you going to support your police department because you believe in them? The city of Irving has the 5th safest city by the FBI standards in the country for cities our size. That is something that does not happen by accident. We have a phenomenal police department. When I first got elected back in 2004, I took our police, our Citizens Academy. I've known these people for a decade. And, you begin to understand some of the choices that they have to make and how critical their decisions are and how difficult they are at the time. And everybody can be that Monday morning quarterback. But when you are faced with a situation where you are trying to protect children, our number one responsibility is for the safety of our citizens. Teachers, their number one responsibility is the safety of their students. And when that is in question, I am going to support them in doing what they believe is best, for the safety of our kids. And for people like the president to second guess that without having any information, I just think is ridiculous.
We see this bullying that goes on a lot from progressives in the country. When you don't agree, a lot of times you're slammed on social media or worse. And in this case, what? I mean, death threats, right? At your police officers, at some school administrators over this. It's unbelievable when you would think, okay, let's check it out. Okay, it wasn't anything dangerous. Why was it done this way? And move on. But a kid who, makes something that looks like a gun out of a Pop-Tart, he's got to go home for a few days and bother his parents.
Again, I mean, we are charged with providing, an expectation of safety to our citizens, our visitors, our businesses. And, the overwhelming amount of our budget is spent on public safety, from our police to our fire, our first responders. And that's nothing that we don't take seriously. And I think too often it's not appreciated because you don't think about it. And we don't want you to have to think about it. But I know that if it was my kids in that school, I would want to know that my teachers are aware, that my police officers are responsive. And I think that is exactly what we have in this situation. What I found phenomenal was when the president tweeted out, "Nice clock, kid." That was actually about 20 minutes before the police officers even released the picture of the actual apparatus. So he hadn't even seen it yet before he tweeted that out. And I think a number of people did that. I mean, it was less than 12 hours after the original story by the Dallas Morning News reporter was posted online that this thing went viral. And again, people were making assumptions without ever knowing the facts or both sides. It calmed down after about 72 hours when some more information came out. But it's really, I think, eye-opening that the social media could have that much of an impact in that short of a time with that few of data points.